Cameras off. Y'all know I have low vision who follows me. But I want to tell you about something that I invented a while back. I don't know if someone else has invented it, so I'm not going to say I am the first one who invented it. But I'll give you a little brief of my life. I learned by many talented people different things in life. No, I do not know everything in life. There are people that know more than me, yes. There are people that know more than everyone in this life. But not the people who taught me know more than anyone. I'm just saying always out there there's someone that knows something more than someone else. But long story short, I learned a little about car engines, how pulleys worked and all that. Then I learned from other people how plumbing works from a friend that did plumbing. I learned how from my stepfather how houses were built and how stuff like that, how studs and walls go together. I learned many different kind of trades. And I never watched cartoons growing up. The only cartoons I honestly watched was Clifford or Arthur or Curious George. Other than that, I watched History Channel, National Geographic, Discovery, and Weather Channel. Now, get into the story. At first, I wanted to see if this would work, what I was making, so I did it on a Lego prototype. And it wasn't just a Lego car that came out of a kit, it had the tires, right where the tires snapped onto the axle. So this one didn't work according like the model that I did after did. This one just seen, can air move a car? And yes, it succeeded. And the Lego thing went down the hallway and crashed. I put it in my doorway and let out and said, Mom, you're out of the way and everything. She's like, yep. And so I let the little lever up that let the air out, and it moved. And it went down the hall and crashed into the desk at the end. But then I said, no, what? This worked. It actually moved. Now I'm going to try a different way and do a model of a car, because models are expensive. Back in the day, they were expensive back in the late 2000s. That's when I did it. So now I went from a Lego car to a model. This was a little bit harder because the shell already made, so I had to adapt. So what I did, I took the whole model apart, took the guts of the inside the car out, right, the seat drawer and everything, and took the wheels off. Took all that off, made my own bottom, and made it so this car had a axle that went straight through the rear, but this axle had a little thing on it that had a little cable hook to it. It had a little pulley on it. And this hooked to the other pulley up ahead, and sorry about my phone, and it had another pulley hooked to that one. So it was two pulleys, one hooked to the air chamber, because when you release this one lever, it put the air through the chamber, through the little tube. And inside that tube was a gear, a pulley, that spun. It was a thing like, almost like a thing that the air would spin, and it went a certain way. And when that went that way, down this other gear that was on the outside of it had little rubber gaskets that I had, so when the spindle spun, it didn't move back and forth with that air out. It was wedged very well in. It was hard to make, honestly. It was a lot of failed attempts before I got it to work. I'll say that with the model. But eventually it worked by failure and figuring it out patiently and working out. So then I got it to work. So when the air blew through the chamber and you released the lever, it spun the little pulley that spun the other pulley on the outside that was hooked to that one that went down to the axle pulley on that one, and it spun it, and the car moved by air. No battery, no electricity. Literally, the air powered through, spun the little turbine, and on the outside of that turbine thing had a little pulley that I made that hooked to the axle pulley down below, and it spun and moved the car. I thought that was a cool fact you all would like. Maybe you all can try it with your children, or you could try making it yourself as a project, saying, you know what, I'm going to try making something like that. You can use many different things to contain and hold the air. And what you do, you have to fill it up with air by an air compressor or something like that, or an air pump. And make sure what you use can seal, and make sure it won't blow up and, well, it won't blow up in flames, but it will blow up and pieces can fly everywhere. Make sure you use the right air